I'm happy to have Barbara back with me this week because she was traveling for a couple of weeks. Welcome back, Barbara.
Yeah, thank you. Happy to be here.
Yeah, and today we're talking about, I hope, a topic that speaks to people right now, which is momentum over perfection. How to move forward when you don't have all the answers. I think the truth is we never have all the answers, but this may be a time in business where you feel even more uncertain about the landscape, and so you really don't feel like you have all the answers. So, we want to talk about that today and give you some of our leadership toolbox that we know works in all business environments to help you in how to think about moving through change, making the decisions you can make, and getting that positive momentum going. I always like to start these sessions with a question. So we'll ask you, as you landed here to watch this video, whether in real time or you're watching the recording, take a moment and take a pause and let yourself catch up with yourself and land here in this conversation. This is a really good practice for how to go through your workday as you're moving from meeting to meeting, different conversations, that you take just a brief pause at the outset to allow yourself to really land where you are. So that's my invitation. So now, momentum over perfection. So, one of the main things I know, Barbara, is that it is in the moving forward that we get very valuable information, right?
hmm hmm
And so we need to take action steps, and it is almost impossible, no matter what's going on in the external environment. Certainty about your business decisions is not available, right? You use data and other information points to feel as secure as you can in the decisions you're choosing, but you really have to be mindful to make a decision and move forward, because in that moving forward, you get a lot more information that can help you along the way.
hmm Absolutely. And I think part of that momentum versus perfection then is spending too much time at that. I was thinking of the level of done we talk about, right? It's just like a
Mhm.
certain level, we need to allow space for this thought, this action, this decision to have an impact that we can see to get more information, is what you're talking about.
Yes, exactly. And so, one of the things that we wanted to talk about as well today, this point number one on our discussions for today. I think you can see my window, Barbara, and for anyone that's just listening to the audio of the recording, it's just a cute image of a team experimenting together. And on the slide, it says empowered experimentation: how to foster a culture of thoughtful action, curiosity, and ongoing learning.
Hmm.
So, when you're working with clients today, Barbara, in businesses, how do they best encourage the experimentation of their team and this creative collaboration that we see in the image here of the team experimenting together?
What comes to my mind with this is that what sometimes trips this up is listening to the external concerns, like these goals, these concerns, valid thinking for business interaction. But if we don't hold to a good balance of how are we relating to one another while we're in this situation, so that we can really hear each other's thoughts, each other's perspectives that drive those thoughts, for that place of what would be, when I see thoughtful action, is fully thought through action to some degree. And again, we're talking momentum versus perfection. We're not talking about, well, we've got to have this all played out and it has to land a certain way, because we can't control that in most of those things. So fostering culture like this is allowing that curiosity and that opportunity to learn and grow in the process together. There's often an image that as individuals we carry that we can't expose the creative self because the creative self, the creative energy is a little messy,
Mhm.
right? There's chaos in creation. And while we're working in a structure, we also have to allow, I have this thought and I'm not sure if it's a good one yet, and seed one another's best thinking together.
I also think, in my experience, a lot of clients that we work with have success in separating a meeting for brainstorming and creativity
Hmm.
versus a meeting where we're talking about things we're making decisions on and moving forward.
Yeah,
Sometimes
absolutely.
we have to meld these 2 together, but to really, I think when I see empowered experimentation, to have really empowered
Mhm.
experimentation, one of the best ways is to actually have a type of meeting where you set the safety of that container and you invite the creativity of your whole team. Like, we're gonna come to this meeting and we're gonna try to think about everything differently and not just doing what we've always done. So I'm going to invite you to this meeting. I'm also going to invite you beforehand to like allow your creativity and your mind to wander and think of like what what kinds of things have we never done? What kind of thoughts have you thought of but then not brought up because it doesn't seem like it fits here? What other things might you hear peers doing or see other companies doing? I want all of that to come to our brainstorming meeting. And the
Mm,
purpose of having the different types of meetings is because unless we have the different containers with the different purposes, people don't bring new ideas in a lot of work environments because they're feeling stretched thin and overburdened with the work they already have. And they're like, oh no, don't bring new ideas. That'll just give us more to do. Right. So we have to create
right,
a lot of safety around the creativity, but you don't want to not have it.
right. Creativity is very important. And so, yeah, I'm catching the empowered experimentation a little bit more as you're talking. And, that that's playful.
Yeah, that's why I picked the image on the slide is a team,
Mm,
but it's little kids, right? And it's like, how can we bring in that little kid, creative, playful energy of like,
hmm.
really willing to throw spaghetti against the wall and see what
Right.
sticks or share something. I had a leader I coach, I think it was last week, they shared with me protecting their privacy, but just sharing the example, but they shared with me, they had to be brave and bring up an idea that they know had been said no to before.
Mm,
But at this moment in time, and for this particular product out in the marketplace, it seemed like it was worth asking one more time. Might this be possible? This is something I think we might be able to do. Might it be possible? And bring it forward one more time and paint the picture of why it was important in this moment in time for this particular product in this client's universe, right? And at that time, it was considered differently and it actually did get implemented. So,
mm,
also, some ideas may not have worked in the past. Don't let that stop you from sharing it
right.
today because this is a new moment and enough factors might have changed where now your idea is a fit, right? So want to really create that bravery for creativity, adding your thinking and all of that, and knowing as the business picture moves forward and things change, we may want to revisit decisions from the past.
And owning that in real time, being like, hey, I know this is something that we've looked at before. It's
Yeah.
still coming forward to me today in this situation, and here's how I'm seeing it. Sometimes we shy away from painting the picture a little bit more,
Mhm.
and then people are just left hanging to figure out what you're really thinking, why you're seeing that. Instead, what if you're in the position, this is a coaching moment here, if
Yeah.
you're in the position to bring these ideas forward, paint the picture, give them your thinking, not just what you came up with. And if you're in the position of supporting somebody who's bringing this idea forward,
Yes.
ask good listening questions. Can you tell me more how you see this working today? Can you see benefits? I'm not sure I'm connecting to that. Can you tell me more? So on both sides, leadership is always all sides, right? We're leading ourselves in our roles, in our interactions to achieve business results together. That's what we're doing in our roles. I think just for all of us to be mindful, how can I empower this conversation, this engagement we're having on whatever part of our company or our roles are happening that way?
Yeah, for sure. So the next thing connected to this, Barbara, that we wanted to talk about, let me go back over here, was how to make small decisions basically with information and move things forward. On the slide here, it says someone making a choice, a green X or a green go for like a done decision. Micro decisions, meaningful impact. How small choices anchored in business goals and real time context drive leadership, clarity, and momentum. And what you were just talking about when you were sharing about how to bring that idea forward again, right? They were bringing it forward and you were encouraging the asking of questions of tell me more about how you see this working. All of that is really a strong coaching to always be anchored in the business goals and be
Mhm.
giving meaningful context of your thinking that connects to those business goals. That's how we want to be making our decisions, not by something we feel in the moment, but more by it can be our feelings, our creativity, our innovation, but ultimately filtered through what is our business picture, what are our goals, and does that actually move us forward?
Right. And part of that is the conversation you're designing to get the impact and influence you're going for. So when you can bring it to the business context, that's where everybody can meet and truly hear what it is that you're discussing together. The point I'm making here is creating safety in conversations to really set the stage for others to hear, to understand what you're conveying. Then we bring things to that business impact. What, how does this impact our goals? How does this impact? Because it's the place that we meet. This is the relationship that we are in our business roles.
And it is really, really what we're trying to solve and work towards together. So, just time and again, this is really powerful, I think, valuable business coaching for you to get, whether you're a CEO or a member of the team or a department head. You want to be making decisions together while looking at and anchoring back to the business picture. And then the other part of what's on this talking point here, micro decisions, meaningful impact. Any decision is going to help us take fuzzy goals and a
Hmm.
fuzzy picture and get clearer. So every time you make a decision and you move things forward in some way, you gain clarity. Your team gets a little bit clearer picture on where we're moving and why we're moving, and they can better align to it. And you're going to get more effective movement in your organization forward. So don't be concerned if maybe you're looking at it too big picture and some of the larger decisions facing your business are filled with too much uncertainty. That's okay.
Mm.
So maybe it's a time to really like hone in on some things we know we're working on that are working. What else can we get clear about around it so that the team can take some other actions, and then we can see, is this path really going to expand and take our business further, right? So
Hmm.
little decisions really, really help a fuzzy goal, a too big goal, We can have goals that are too big. There's a very interesting
Mhm.
conundrum that Barbara and I have experienced time and again when we're coaching in entrepreneurial teams. And it's that CEOs and business owners need something different than the team members need.
Mhm.
And we call this the dynamic tension that exists between team members and CEOs. And I'll let you speak to this, Barbara, but I'll just paint the picture a little. CEOs tend to really like big goals. It excites them and they want to shoot for the star, shoot for the moon, land in the stars as long as they can do that. That big goal wakes them up in the morning, it calls them forward, it tends to excite them. I'm speaking generally, of course, about entrepreneurial CEOs, but in general, the personalities that tend to end up being entrepreneurial CEOs, them and their peers, they love getting excited about big goals. They want to go for it that way. The dynamic tension is your high performing team members do not want the same thing because for them, a goal that is too big feels unachievable. And if they can't feel like it is achievable in some way, then it's more like they're being set up to fail. And a high performing team does not want to be set up to fail. They like big goals, but they want them to be more in the realm of a stretch, what's achievable, and then a stretch from that, not an all the way shoot for the moon, lands in the stars situation. How'd I do describing that, Barbara?
Mhm. Well, very well. And it's also where their position is within the organization, because the visionary excitement does actually exist in many levels of leadership within an organization. The thing is that execution level, where you're managing resources, time, people, resources to get things done to reach those goals. And that's really becomes part of the tension point. Because if the CEO is hanging on, but maybe it's possible, this feels fun to make it big, and they're not understanding the mindset that their team must carry
Mm,
to organize functions in their roles of how they work together and what resources they have available. Human resources are limited, financial resources are limited, resources have a limitation. And so that's what creates this dynamic tension. And the resolution is in the relationship, the consideration of empowerment for success. So, what you did paint the picture of was, well, the leaders want to be set up for success. That
yeah.
huge shoot for the moon is unattainable to the level they need to be able to motivate and drive themselves and the team for a success. That tension of that dynamic, if it isn't brought into some balance, that tension actually takes away from their performance. And
Oh,
that's what the business owner needs to understand.
yeah, and I was tying it to also the other slide about micro decisions because when we have this dynamic tension, I think one of the places we can meet in the middle is okay, well that's a really big broad goal we're going for. Can you tell me more about what you expect to see in the business numbers and the impact with the client, right? Are we going for more YouTube subscribers? What is the main strategy? What does the CEO really have in their head that they're going to measure later as success when they're seeming to just give a like, no, go for it kind
Mhm,
of positive vibe thing, right? So micro decisions come in there because maybe we can get just a little bit clearer on what you're measuring as success in the future. And then I will know better how to achieve it. And this is how we can close the gap and ease that tension.
mhm, mhm. Yes. So again, that dynamic piece is you're talking about relationship, communication, connecting so that we bring this together. And just an acceptance that there's very different experiences and perspectives. There often comes up too, I'm a business owner versus I'm an employee.
Mhm.
Each can be fully engaged, and we have to remember that each are taking risks to be an employee or to be a business owner,
Yeah, they're
right?
different risks, but it's both risk, it's both
It's
investment
all
in
risk,
different ways.
investment of self, engagement of my talents, my time, myself, use of myself as a resource, either side. And when you can start seeing some mutuality in
Yeah.
the difference, that builds a rapport in a relationship, that builds understanding and connection, that helps work with this tension. We don't want to get rid of that dynamic tension. We need to understand it and work with it respectfully.
Right. Which brings, I think, to what you were speaking, this final slide, which the slide just has an image of a cute little stick figure holding up a sign that says, "You can do it." And on the slide, it says, "Confidence without control." What it really means to trust the process, empower your people, and let clarity emerge through aligned action. And from what you were just sharing, Barbara,
Mm,
we need to meet in the middle, get clarity on the goals. We can take a big goal and ask some questions to get some clarity around it. That allows the team to adjust their strategy and to know where to move and how to move. And that's what we call taking effective, aligned action as a team. Now, expressing belief in your team always matters.
mhm,
It is the heart of a healthy business culture. But imagine during times of stress and pressure and anxiety that it's harder to be this voice saying, "You can do it," and to have confidence without control, right? Why are we emphasizing that?
mm,
Because it's human nature to want to control, because we think
mm,
in that control, we're going to get the better outcome. And the truth is, control shuts down the creativity and the innovation. It shuts it down within yourself and with those that are working with you. Control is really more fed by our fear. It's like, get it more under control so I can help make sure the right outcome happens, right? And in a lot of shifting, changing environments, nobody knows for sure what the best approach should be. So we want to invite in innovation and creativity. So, how can we be confident leaders of teams without having to hold all the control?
well, what's interesting comes to my mind is that control is an illusion.
Yes, for sure.
Like I don't really have control over the outcome,
Yeah,
right? So I think that's part of
I'm
what
going to
comes
stop
forward with
there.
me. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because a big part of the confidence is that I'm in this. I trust myself and my team to work in what's happening, to make decisions together, to collaborate, to connect in those ways, because we cannot control our business outcomes, really. We can't control how this email is going to impact somebody else. I was just on a coaching call this morning, and the CEO and the marketing director, they put together this email message to their audience, thought it was going to land with the intention that they had, and
Yeah.
was completely did not do that. And
Mm,
it landed the wrong way, that the audience didn't understand what they were really trying to say in a supportive way. And they were like, we thought this through, right? So we don't have control over so much that comes in business complexity, comes in interacting with team, with competition, with audience, with our clients. Like there's not control. So confidence is key. And the more we can have clarity of our roles and clarity that we are a team learning and growing, that we can do this and go through doing this together,
Mhm.
is a big part of where the confidence comes from. Because you can have false confidence that connects to that false control. So there is something there that takes it even a little bit further. We need to lean in the confidence of I can discern in the moment, I can ask for help, I can raise questions, I can observe, I don't have to react and fix because that's the control coming in.
I was thinking too before coming on this call today about the topic momentum versus perfection and the things that
Mm.
we've given them as talking points, teaching points here. And it seems to me that if the environment feels more uncertain, for lack of a better way to talk about it, I know people are sick of certain terminology applied to these times in business today. And it's
Yeah.
just like, feels like maybe we don't have enough words in the English language to express the different variety of uncertainty all might be experiencing right now. But I think when I think about momentum over perfection, one of the things is you might be watching everything more closely right now. You might circle up more frequently with your team. You might make micro decisions, right? Small decisions that allow forward action. And you might circle up sooner to say, how did that action go? What does the data show? What was revealed through that? What did we learn? And then move forward some more, right? So you
Hmm.
might be watching things more closely because of the uncertainty. So the tools Barbara and I have given you with making micro decisions anchored in your business picture, circling up a little more frequently just to stay hip to hip. How did that go? What's happening now? Did that get the result we were expecting? And then make another decision so that we can move forward. And I hope, Barbara, that team that you were working with that thought they thought things through and then
Hmm.
had a way different result that they did not expect is not beating themselves up in any way, because who knows what changed in the external environment and timed out a certain way. And when they pressed send on that email, it just landed in a different
Well,
way,
and
right?
the other positive thing about that is they're looking at knowing that was a new marketing message, a new communication to
Right.
their audience, one, so no control, learning experience. It's informing the current email messaging
Right, because
based on that experience.
we got some input. Now, the thing is,
Mm.
we don't want to totally contract from that input. We want to go, great. We learned some things about what's going on with our audience right now and what appeals to them. So now, how do we speak with greater clarity towards what we have learned they might be more open to?
Mhm.
And all of that is good information. And I think one of the things as we talk about control today is like, how can you have confidence? Let mistakes happen so that you can learn and don't have you fully constrict.
It's a great definition of the confidence you're talking about, Heather. I
Yeah.
like that. The confidence to make mistakes, the confidence to put your ideas forward, the confidence to share your ideas with others openly with the idea that they might have a different perspective. All of those things, that confidence to be you in your role.
And when we constrict in fear, then we go to control. Then we go to moving nothing
Yes.
forward because nothing is certain, right? We go
Hmm.
to stopping forward momentum. Success today involves you embracing with your team the reality of the uncertainty and playing in the sandbox of business anyway. Um, in towards innovation and playing together. I was thinking how everyone is talking about AI these days, and the general message is if you're not using it, you won't be replaced by AI, but you will be replaced by a person who uses AI in their role. Why? Because it makes them more effective, more efficient, and you need to be embracing this AI thing. Well, what if we take AI out of the conversation? AI just represents new and emerging technology and fast moving change, right? And the
Mm.
bottom line is if you're not open to new and emerging technology and fast moving change in the external environment, then you're going to not do as well in the current business environment because you'll waste a lot of energy wishing things weren't how they are instead of going, wow, it's a very fast moving business environment these days. There is a lot of uncertainty. How do I work with that? What should I do differently to tap into listening to what my clients are talking about? To how do I embrace enough technology to help me leap ahead without getting lost in deep dives in technology, right? But you have to be willing to play the game and lean into what is because it is. And you can't change that part.
Absolutely. What is. And working with what is key for confidence.
Yeah. So I hope that we gave you some helpful teaching points and nuggets to take with you today. Barbara and I love what we do. We love working with the teams of entrepreneurial businesses. We coach the entire team from the CEO to the execution level team member. And we have all kinds of trainings to support your business where it is today, to develop that collaborative think tank, to get you working together, making solid business decisions. You name it, we have a training on it, and we love what we do. And because of that, we offer a free discovery call where you can hop on a call with Barbara. You can say, this is my situation. How can you help? And she will give you meaningful help in the moment on that call. It is not a sales call, it's an opportunity to support you, to get to know us, and to get some leverage for yourself. Again, we love what we do. It's why we want to offer something like that. And we hope you take us up on that.
All right. Well, hope to hear
All right.
from you. Take care, everybody.
Have a great rest of your day. See you again soon.